Welcome, traveler. You found third shift HFY. The story begins now.
The council floor trembles now when I speak. It never used to. Once, these halls sang with certainty. Today, even the walls sound afraid.
The Tserathi envoy stood beneath the fractured dome of the Galactic Council. The light above her was dimmed by dust, fragments of shattered planets drifting through the station's upper atmosphere. She could smell the tang of coolant from damaged conduits, the bitter scent of ozone and despair.
I bring the last casualty report from the Dominion front. 47 worlds, 12 billion gone. The enemy expands through the outer arm unopposed. Your fleets have fallen silent.
A low murmur rippled through the chamber. The holographic display flickered between star maps and static. Across from her, Speaker Valeroon spread his crested wings in weary formality, voice smooth and melodic, but cracking at the edges.
We know the numbers, Envoy. What remains of our defense grid is holding. Barely.
Barely is a kind word, Speaker. Your grid is a map of ghosts.
The silence that followed was thick, heavy with exhaustion. Somewhere far below, another tremor rattled through the ring station, a reminder that even the Council's sanctuary was not safe anymore. Valeroon's eyes dimmed.
Then we have no choice.
The chamber brightened as he tapped a command into the console. A symbol appeared on every display, an ancient sigil few dared to speak aloud.
You can't mean...
I do. Send the transmission to Sol. Summon the Terrans.
The word carried weight, heavier than any weapon. Conversations died mid-sentence. Even the damaged lights seemed to flicker in protest.
They swore they would never return.
Then pray their silence means mercy.
No one in the chamber spoke again. Somewhere beyond the stars, an old frequency stirred awake. The relay station hung over a dying red dwarf, its orbit decaying faster than projections allowed. Systems flickered from power shortages. The stars here were few and tired, each one dimmer than the last.
The transmission was simple. Coordinates, losses, plea for assistance. It took less than 1 minute to send. The waiting took the rest of eternity.
She stood before the central transmitter, its crystalline spines humming faintly as the message echoed outward, across 50,000 light-years, toward the cradle of humanity. Every few seconds, the console pulsed, searching for a reply.
The Council insisted we hold position until they responded. The enemy fleet was already on approach. I could see their emissions in the void, each one a promise of extinction. Still, we waited.
Hours passed. The crew whispered in their native tongues, small rituals to keep fear manageable. Even the station's hum began to sound like a heartbeat struggling to continue. Then the signal changed.
At first I thought it was static. A single pulse. Low, deliberate. Then silence. The machine translated nothing. No words. No code. Just intent.
On the console, the transmission registered one coordinate. No greeting, no signature, no voice.
Is that them?
Yes. That is how the Terrans answer.
Outside, the dying star flickered, its corona pulsing once, echoing the rhythm of the signal.
And for the first time in history, I prayed that the myth would be real.
The void around Kethra Prime was black, even by cosmic standards. The sun had collapsed into a cinder star centuries ago, leaving its system cold and airless, perfect for war. The Tserathi fleet waited in the shadow of a fractured moon. Their hulls were scarred, their power cells running on fumes. The enemy fleet approached in formation, 6 dreadnoughts, 20 escorts, 1,000 fighters cutting light into ribbons.
We had nothing left to give. We only waited, to die, or to be remembered trying.
Then the stars blinked. Not dimmed, not vanished. They blinked, as though space itself had closed its eyes for a single heartbeat. When they opened again, something stood between the two fleets.
The human warship did not arrive. It was simply there.
No flare, no sound, no distortion, only the absence of background radiation where the void used to be. Its hull was darker than shadow, surface texture absorbing all light, until the brain invented reflections just to understand it.
Every scanner returned the same reading. Error. Every system that tried to measure it stopped working. Even the enemy paused, confused.
A transmission cut through every channel, soft but absolute.
This is the Eidolon. Identify yourselves.
The voice carried no static, no distortion, only authority so calm it felt ancient. The enemy answered with fire. Beams crossed the void, filling space with fury. They never reached the Eidolon. They bent, they curved, they vanished.
Their weapons disappeared 1 meter from its hull. Not destroyed, denied.
Then came light. Not from the ship itself, but from every enemy vessel at once. They turned white, inside out, their energy spilling backward through their own hulls.
It didn't attack them. It returned what they gave.
Moments later, the void was empty again. Only drifting cinders remained, glowing faintly in the silence. The Eidolon did not move. It didn't broadcast. It simply existed, a hole carved in the concept of reality.
Then we understood why humanity stopped making fleets. They had learned that one voice, spoken clearly, can be louder than 1,000 guns.
Silence lingered long after the enemy was gone. Even space itself seemed uncertain how to continue existing.
I had seen destruction before. I had seen planets die screaming, heard the static of extinction. But never peace like this. The void felt clean, like someone had erased the sound of sin.
The Eidolon drifted forward, slow as a drifting thought. Its surface rippled with faint heat distortion, as though it struggled to remain part of the universe it occupied.
Our remaining ships formed escort instinctively. No orders were given. The human vessel transmitted no request, no command. It only waited.
Moments later, another enemy fleet dropped from hyperspace, larger than the first. Hundreds of ships, their drives flaring bright across the system. Kezra gripped the console, her throat tightening.
We had no power left. The humans had already performed one miracle. We did not dare ask for another.
The Eidolon began to glow, not bright, but deep. Lines of red light crawled across its hull, like veins awakening. Then, the glow stopped, arrested mid-pulse, and folded inward. A second later, every enemy vessel froze. Their weapons still pointed forward, thrusters still flared, and yet motion itself had ceased. Not delayed, not slowed, denied.
I thought time had broken.
Inside each frozen ship, energy built without escape. Flares of light struggled against invisible pressure. Then, as one, the entire fleet imploded, not exploding outward, but collapsing inward, as if consumed by its own reflection. No sound followed. No debris, just starlight, unchallenged again.
The Eidolon didn't fire a shot. It simply refused to let violence exist near it.
The human voice returned across the comms, unhurried.
Threat neutralized. System stabilized. We are entering drift cycle.
Then, silence. The signal cut.
I realized then the Terrans had not come to fight for us. They had come to end the argument altogether.
The Eidolon drifted toward the dying star, its hull cooling, its shadow stretching endlessly across the void. The fleet followed from a distance, afraid to speak, afraid to breathe too loudly near it.
In that moment, we did not see saviors. We saw the shape of inevitability.
The war was over by every definition the Council recognized. The enemy frequencies had gone silent. No counterattack came. No new fleets arrived. Only the humans remained, and even they were quiet.
We hailed the Eidolon for hours, No response. Its shadow still moved, but its voice was gone.
The Tserathi escort vessel drifted closer, every sensor trembling under interference. The human ship's hull now pulsed with faint blue light, its earlier age cooled into something fragile and dying. When the transmission finally came, it was distorted, half signal, half ghost.
Mission complete. Recommend containment of affected sectors. We will not return.
I asked what he meant.
The channel responded with fragmented syllables, names, codes, the faint murmur of a crew's heartbeat monitors flattening one by one. Then, silence.
I realized the ship had given everything it had, every watt of power, every life aboard, to bend reality that way. The Eidolon had done the impossible, because it had nothing left to lose.
The human vessel began to drift toward the dying star. Its engines were cold, its lights dimmed to embers. Yet still, the hull shimmered faintly, as though something unseen watched through it.
We tried to tow it. The moment our beam touched its hull, our systems failed. The ship would not be touched.
As the Tserathi fleet withdrew, the last transmission came through, clear and calm.
Tell them, we held the line.
Static swallowed the signal. The Eidolon turned slowly, aligning itself with the dying star, and vanished into its light.
The council called it victory. I called it a funeral.
Months later, the council chamber had been rebuilt. The glass dome replaced, the banners rehung, the floor polished until the scars were gone. But Kezra Valen knew better. Scars never vanish. They simply change their shape.
The record will show the war ended on the day the Terrans returned. It will list star dates, fleet designations, and casualty ratios. It will not mention what we felt.
She stood before the assembled delegates once more, her scaled hands folded neatly, posture measured but eyes distant.
I've been asked to provide a statement for the archive. The council wishes to understand what transpired above Kezra Prime. I cannot explain it. I can only remember.
The lights dimmed. A projection shimmered to life above the chamber, the last recording from her ship's sensors. A single dark shape drifting into a dying star, its outline fading into gold. The delegates watched in silence.
They gave us victory.
They gave us consequence. The Terrans did not save us. They ended the war, because we forced them to remember how.
The chamber fell still. Even the translator drones muted their hums.
When we called them, we thought they would come as warriors. They came as witnesses. And in their silence, they showed us what power costs when no one else will pay it.
She looked up at the hologram one last time, the human warship vanishing into light.
I will not call them again. I pray none of us will. But if we ever do, I pray they answer as gently as they did this time.
The recording ended. The council said nothing. Outside the chamber, the repaired glass dome reflected the stars. Far beyond them, a faint shadow drifted still, silent, patient, watching.